You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
Here we go for the Monday edition. Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, presented by Bet365. Man, it is really bizarre stuff in the Atlantic Division. When you think about how difficult the start this has been for the Maple Leafs, they play Tampa tonight, who is first in the Atlantic. The Leafs are 4 points back of the Lightning, Rosie. They win in regulation. They're 2 points back of the division lead here. Makes sense of that.
I know, man. There's a pretty good chance that, I mean, depending on how things go with the goaltenders here, that we'll look back, sometime in the new year and been like, we're right where we want to be, which, I mean, it was dire situation there for a while through October, November. What was the lowest point? Like, there was a burn it to the ground point for the whole market. And it's just, they're not dead, and they should be. But like you say, you look at the points and you're like, my God, they're right there. And who knows what happens this season, man. I've stopped trying to predict, but playing some better hockey. Hilderby looks good. I mean, if you would have told me what their record would be and that they've lost Matthews for this amount of time, Nyes for this amount of time, both goalies go down for a considerable amount of time, you would say, oh my God, they're absolutely cooked, and they're just not. So it's definitely a positive in the market.
Perception's everything, too. Like, you even look at the Florida Panthers, who the Maple Leafs beat last week, and they won back-to-back games over the weekend, and suddenly they're tied with the Maple Leafs in points, 4 points back of the division title. Like, it's really weird how it works out. Like, even watching that Montreal game, perception's everything, but the Habs, to me, have had a pretty good start to this season. The Leafs have been dreadful, yet there's only a couple points separating these teams, and it's just a weird year where everybody's clogged together in the conference, in the division. I can remember a time where it was this close, where one loss and you fall a couple points behind, and one win, you're back in the mix this quickly. Like, I think the Leafs are fortunate. I'm very curious to see how they do down the stretch here over the last 50 some odd games of the season, because it really feels, I don't know to you, but they really haven't played like the great teams yet, and how they fare against those teams. But we know historically they actually do well against the good teams, or have done well.
Yeah, they can. I mean, that Carolina game was a big test, and it went well, obviously. It is just very odd. Like, I don't know who's going to win this division. I don't know what this playoff situation is going to be. I don't know who's going to miss. I don't know who's going to make. Like you said, you think one team looks damn good, and they kind of fall off, and you think a team's going to be good, and they're in the basement, and I don't know how it's going to shake off. It does make it interesting for sure. But again, the big thing there is that what the Leafs have gone through, you'd hope that's the low point of their season. And if that is, then by all accounts should be able to make the playoffs and maybe even in a good position. But like you said, they haven't really faced the heavies in the league yet. And I think their schedule is going to get tougher here, but they'll get that Olympic break. It's just, I don't have a clue what's going to happen, but it's pretty cool that we don't have to keep doing the shows of like, what do we talk about now? These guys are toast and there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
To me, and I go to a lot of games, I see them in person, it really feels like they've reined things in defensively. It's not as much of a disaster as it was, say, even 2 weeks ago. And that's why I sort of feel positive. We're going to break down that Montreal game, but I think just even watching that game, watching last week, they've really started to own in defensively, are not making those egregious gaffes. I mean, it's not a Picasso just yet, but it seems like they're trending in the right direction. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show, hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. So I suppose we got a bit of injury updates from Craig Berube over the weekend. He really didn't say much. I still do not believe for a second that we're going to see Joseph Wall this week. Like that. That's the intimation. He's progressing the right way. Like I said, it's probably going to be this week. I don't buy that for a second on Walt, Rosie. Do you?
No. Like, what injury that you leave an important game all better in a week? Surprised to me.
Yeah.
Chief keeps doing this too. Like, it's like he hasn't talked to anyone. He's just like, yeah, probably next week or so. I don't know. It's never been accurate, I don't think. And I don't know if there's a single injury it's either they don't tell you anything and want you to forget about the guy and he's just off the planet for a considerable amount of time, or else they say it's going to be X amount of time and it's twice as long. So we'll see, but I hope so. Fingers crossed. Would love nothing more than Joseph Woll. The way he was playing was ridiculous, and they need him like crazy. And if he comes back and can be his best, they could find themselves in a playoff spot like right away. So I hope he's right, but I just don't see how you leave a game and then you're just all good to go again in a week. So I'd be surprised, but maybe it's really minor and like, you put him on IR and it's got to be 7 days, right? So maybe they're like, oh yeah, this is just kind of a precautionary thing. He's fine, but we had to IR him to call up the other goalie and now he's going to be back next week. I mean, that kind of makes sense. No, if it's literally not much at all, just a precautionary pull in that game and they had to call up a second guy, like, I could see that happening, I guess, and I hope that is the case. But it's just, again, odd injury news with this team.
It is very odd. They're very mum every time somebody gets banged up. Sir Bob Laws here in the chat makes a good point. On Saturday, he said a week, not this week. My interpretation is that in a week, they're going to further analyze where the hell Woll's at. I did poke around in this because, again, you get nothing, so you got to go behind the back channel to figure out what the hell's going on with these guys. But from everything I hear, I think they dodged a bullet. One person I spoke to said they will be careful, won't rush it. And there are people behind the scenes who think we won't see this guy until after Christmas, which would make a lot of sense. To your point, I don't know which lower body injury just takes a week. I think my interpretation was that in a week, maybe they'll further analyze and know more where Woll is at. But I think the positive thing is that Hilderby's playing well, but it just stinks, man. One guy starts cooking, then he gets hurt. The next guy steps up. And then the bigger issue here is like, where the hell is Anthony Stolarz? We're looking at a month we haven't seen this guy. He's not even skating. If you realize he left that game November 11th, dude. We're sitting here on December 8th.
It's bloody Remembrance Day, dude. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard anything and not skating. Like, that's got to be why would you not? It's upper body, right?
Yeah.
So it's his head
he's
again,
been
I
at
guess.
Events, though, too. It's weird, right? Like, he's been at functions. We've seen him, like, walking around.
You still go to functions if you're hurt. Like, you're the
Yeah, true.
You're the goalie of the Leafs. You still go to all this stuff. There's lots of extracurricular things you do outside of the rink and with teams and charities and all kinds of stuff, especially this time of year. So I'm not surprised to see him there at all. But I mean, you go back to the playoffs last year. I mean, everyone was going bananas about Sam Bennett's hit on him. Like, he just kind of like leaned into him, to be honest. I was vocal about that not being vicious or violent at all. The fact that he was hurt and it's Sam Bennett, yeah, I was totally pissed about that. But the physical nature of the injury was just like, well, how the hell did that take him out? And now here we are. We don't even really know what happened, and he's out for a considerable amount of time. And then when you're not skating, that's because you're still feeling symptoms. This is me guessing on a concussion or going through the possibility of it being a concussion and trying to make that make sense, which is the thing that pops into my head on why he hasn't skated in so long, because heads are weird like that and he has a history of it. So not really good news at all. And the fact that he's just on the back burner and there's no updates tell me that he's just constantly not making progress.
It's just remarkable to me where this team was a year ago at this time when it came to the crease, man. Like, I felt so good. Both guys, like, just a double shot of love, man. You just felt so confident when those guys were in there. And then Woll's pumping, and then he gets hurt. And it just, the more and more you watch the season unfold, it just feels like it's going to be one of those years. But it's tremendous to me that, like, a year ago, like, even when Stoli signs that contract, you're like, what a steal. And then he gets hurt, like, right away. And then it's like, I can't, and I understand this market, but people are so down and negative on Anthony Stolarz and don't appreciate and realize how good this guy truly is. My one hope for January and the new year is just to get these guys back and healthy and know what this team truly is, right?
Yeah, like, go back to last year when Stolarz is good, like, he's as good as it gets, and he was good for a long time. That series could have been different. Not that it was on Joseph Woll or anything, but just the confidence that he exudes and you know, how that reverberates through the team. I think that series could have been different against Florida if Stoli had stayed healthy. He's as good as it gets. And yeah, I don't know if we took it for granted or what, but last year with the 1-2 punch, him and Woll, it was like funny, like trying to figure out who was going to play and like the reasons you would, well, I take this one and then what? It's just like it didn't matter. It did not matter. Both of them at certain points of the time, which was the majority of the season, were just hot as hell. And it was who do you play? Because you have two really viable options where you're used to going, we got to get our number one on this game and then that game, and maybe you'll play our number two here so that we can save our number one for that. Last year it was just like fucking roll them. They're both phenomenal. It was the best 1-2 punch in the National Hockey League, although no one wanted to admit it because they're not, household names, but they were phenomenal. And Joseph Woll went through something and left the team earlier. That wasn't awesome. The one thing was when he was playing Stoli, he wasn't playing awesome. And yeah, you could kind of put a pin in the timeline on his comments in the media, kind of calling out the team for some half-assed efforts, which I liked to hear it because I agreed with it at the time. I don't think if I was part of the team, I would think it would be necessary to say it in the media. But that was kind of a specific point in time where things started to go south for Stoli, and then he got hurt. So I don't know if this little break, if he could come back, I hope it's sooner than later. Obviously, that's number one thing on the priority list, but we'll see what he has because I don't know if it'll happen. But if we can get Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz back healthy, playing their best, I mean, it is a hell of a 1-2 punch, but it seems like we're quite a ways away from that right now.
Not for anything, but I think if there's one thing that this has shown me the last month is that the Leafs, if they're going to win a Stanley Cup, they're going to need both guys. You're not picking one guy. You're not. These guys can't play a big stretch of games. Like, you're telling me they're going to play every other night in the Stanley Cup playoffs? Look at what happened last year. Like, I think I've just come to the realization that they don't have that Bobrovsky or that Vasilevsky or that Shesterkin who's just going to play every game. And this is becoming a bigger theme and thing around the league. You need both guys. And so, like, it's funny, all that talk the last couple of years, last year specifically, but who's the guy, who's going to start, throw it out the window. If they make the playoffs, they're going to need both guys. I've come to the realization they're just not going to have one guy just grab the ball and say, I got this. Like, they just get banged up. They can't handle it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. You got these guys with these Iron Man streaks, and then there's guys that, could be household names and are just not because of injuries. And I just think it's like biological or genetics a lot of the time. Like, you're just more susceptible to injuries, just the way your body's put together. And some guys have it and some guys don't. I don't think this is a battle it out thing or put on your big boy pants thing. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just shit luck where you are more susceptible to injury. And we knew that about Joseph Woll, and now, Stoli as well. And yeah, you're probably right because it is a long haul. Like, you're in June still going, holy shit, the playoffs are still going. Like, these guys have been going to war, like you said, every second night for months, and it doesn't even seem like we can string together a week of of regular season schedule with one guy without really teeter-tottering on disaster. So I can't argue with you there. We need both guys to get healthy and both guys to be solid. And the thing is, what if you're in the playoffs and one guy hasn't had the best performance or is kind of limping into the postseason performance-wise? Like, game 2 or 3, you just throw him in there, even though the one guy's been playing well. And is it riskier? Like, because I'm so used to it just being like no brainer. Your starter who got you the last 2 wins or played solid the last 2 games, he's playing again in the playoffs. Like, you just ride the hot hand no matter what. Now we have to start like teeter-tottering on injury potential in the playoffs. Like, it's not ideal, but if you can get it to where it was, where they're both hot and viable, you could hit them and keep, half the workload off both of them.
And to be fair, it's not just the Leafs. We talked about this the other day. The Anaheim Ducks are on their third-string goaltender. Everybody's hurt. I mean, the Leafs have dodged a major bullet. They get set for Tampa. Andrei Vasilevsky has been placed on IR, so he's not playing. You got Jonas Johansson. This is a must-win, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I don't even know if Kucherov or Point or Chernak. Vasilevsky's not playing. You got to find a way to win this game for the Maple Leafs, plain and simple. This guy's one of the best on the planet. Their backup's one of the worst on the planet.
And you got to get your offense going.
Yeah.
You know, they've scored a lot of goals. I'm just recency biased in that Montreal game. Whatever, I'm sure they'll wipe it and park it and leave it behind them. But you know, the Willie Nylanders and JTs and Austin Matthews, like they don't win a Stanley Cup unless Austin Matthews is like 80% of what he was 2 years ago. Like you go, what is he right now compared to that 69 goal season? Is he 50% of that guy? Like
he's a 2C. He's a second line center. It's
seriously, he doesn't look dangerous. There's all kinds of slow motion clips where he gets the opportunity that a guy like him looks for, and he's in the sweet spot, and he'll pull it to his backhand and then dish it to like a covered guy. We talked about it last week where he's in one of those spots too. It's not in his sweet spot on his one-timer, but he's coming down the left side and the C's part, and you can walk down, and with your shot, it's just like label where the goalie isn't and just bury it there. And there's a high percentage chance that you score. He scored from everywhere that season 2 years ago. And instead he throws it behind him at like a 45 to nobody, like a fucking Michelli play, like a hoper of like, what the hell was that? And I'm not trying to knock him, but like our standards of what he's capable are through the roof because he's proven it. He's got 3 Rocket Richards and a Hart Trophy. Why are you pulling those plays off unless you have completely lost confidence, or you're Austin Powers and you've lost your mojo, or you made a deal with the devil for a season or two and now it's contract's up? Like, I don't know what to say about it, man. It's not him, and he looks like a shell of himself, and you need to get that guy going. I don't know what we've been saying that for like a year and a half, have we not?
Yeah, again, even watching that game, he's just not the dominant guy that we've seen in the past. And there's no correlation to the guy in Vegas. There just isn't. Austin Matthews was that type of guy who can take over a hockey game. It didn't matter who was on his line. And I just don't put as much stock as some others that say, oh, he's without Marner. Like, that's why I don't buy that. He was the same guy last year, right? Same shit.
Marner does 100%. Last year, he was that was the beginning of him being a shell of himself and injury talks. And I don't think he was healthy. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe he just has this chronic injury that will. But like, if that is the case, and you are a shell of yourself for a year and a half, like, is that the career? Is that what you are now? Is he written off as far as being like a trophy winning monster in the league that, you know, goes for Rocket Richards? Like, he doesn't look even close. Like you say, he kind of looks like a 2C guy. He gets it served on a platter, and he just misses the net by a mile. He doesn't look confident in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what's going on. I keep waiting for him to pop off, and it's just not happening. And the look on his face and his body language does not scream confidence to me whatsoever. And he's doing things that are not conducive to a superstar. He's doing things to guys that would like double clutch and grip the shit out of their stick and panic, which is just not what we've come to know of this guy, but it's starting to become the norm.
Let me ask you this. If Austin Matthews was in a walk year, he was a free agent after this year, what's his price tag look like? Like, I understand it's a tough question to ask because there's always that one team will be like, oh, whatever, this guy scored 69 goals. Let's pay him Kaprizov money. But a friend of mine joked to me the other day, it's like, Matthews better give a discount to the Maple Leafs in the next contract. He's not kidding, man. Like, he's getting paid like a guy who is a perennial superstar, top 10 player in the league, but he is not performing that way, unfortunately.
No, he's not. And it's kind of like the quiet, you know, the elephant in the room where they keep acting like he's the superstar leader of the team. And, you know, when the team's just through some of the stretch of that hockey, they just have this stunned, unconfident, unexuberant, non-energetic look on their faces, and just it's just flat. And that's kind of what Austin Matthews is. And he is their captain and he is their leader. And it's like, are they following suit with him? Like, he's not barging down any doors and rallying the troops and giving some inspirational, you know, step up and stand up and get the guys on the fucking rails. Let's go, jump on my back, follow me, let's do this together. He doesn't seem to have any of that. And he looks flat all year long, and the team has looked flat through some of their downspouts. They're on the right trajectory and stuff, which makes me think that they have lots of pieces there that can do the right stuff, but they need their superstar. And
Man,
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing to do but speculate. He's not saying nothing. I don't know if he's hurt.
No.
Why did you go to Germany? What's hurt? Is it your back? Is it your wrist? I have no clue. All I know is what I watch is just kind of like, have you noticed Austin yet today? Like, nope. He just kind of blends in, which isn't good enough for a $12-13 million player.
Second straight week, he got looked off by Nylander, man. They got a 2-0.
They looked like they were fighting over the puck. They looked like they were having an FU match in overtime. Like, looked like the pass was the play from Willie. He held on to it and then threw it at his pad. And then the next one, they enter again when Austin came off after a quick blow, I think, come over the blue line, like would not give it to Willie, and then finally had to. And I'm like, am I seeing this right now? Like, that's the last thing we need is turmoil amongst superstars, but a couple of serious look-offs for sure. And maybe that's, I don't know, maybe the trust is lacking in being able to get it done from Willie to Austin. Like, he's seen enough, miss the net, can't get the shot off, pull it to the other side and not pull the trigger. I don't know, maybe, and I don't want to start that shit. I'm just saying I was like, I looked around going, did you see that too?
Well, it's confusing when a guy he's got a 69 goal season under his belt, Hart Trophy, multiple Rocket Richards. Like, I know you're Willie Nylander, but fuck, I'm probably deferring. I'm probably giving it to that guy. I don't care if he's at 48%. I'm probably giving it to that guy. But we'll break down this Montreal game. I think to add on the injury front, feels like Chris Tanev's getting closer. I believe at practice or the morning skate today, he was on the ice, not wearing a non-contact jersey anymore. I know Craig Berube over the weekend saying he's going to talk to a doctor on Wednesday. So that's really fortunate news to get a guy like Tanev back in the mix. And I just want to have that conversation at some point, like what they do, because Troy Stecher for me is staying in this lineup, Rosie.
Oh, for sure he is. He's leading in ice time. He's out there and with the last minute, he wasn't out there in overtime, was he? But like serious minutes and situations, he's coming through. He's like this. It's just weird, man. Like, sometimes someone's trash is another one's treasure, and it's not like he was Edmonton's trash, but just didn't fit in with the numbers or whatever. Give a guy a new lease on life. His attitude seems unreal. Like, he's like, I don't know how to put my finger on it or how to describe it, but his interviews and stuff, he's just like, he's easy to like, right? And his play is easy to like. He's not coming out. Are you fucking kidding me? It'll be, it'll be Benoit before it's Stecher, and I like Benoit, but wait for Tanev to get back in that lineup and see, they're already turning a corner and looking more solid and really turning things to the outside, and the odd man rushes and the egregious chances against have really tightened up, which is huge. And to get Tanev back in there would only, put that to full throttle. And then, if we can get our goaltending situation back, like they could shoot into a playoff spot or even the top of this division, which is laughable even a couple of weeks ago, in a hurry. And getting Tanev back would be a big piece of that if it does in fact happen.
And of course, I'm referring to the fact that, like, if they get fully healthy, I know Carlo's nowhere to be found right now, so it's going to be an easy switch. You take Myers out, you put Tanev in, and that'll be the short-term play, and it makes a lot of sense. But you can catch Off the Roster. Don't forget it. Daily, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Toronto's new sports show with Cabby, Lindsay Dunn, and Dan Riccio every weekday morning at 10 a.m. on the Nation Network YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe as well. You can catch it anywhere you stream your podcast as well. Off the Roster, the new sound in the 6. Don't miss it. At the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leafs Won't Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Every time the Leafs play at home, you can get these exclusive deals only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hat Trick, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. That's right, but buy one, get one before, during, and after the game. Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. So I guess Morgan Riley's back on PP1. Your thoughts?
Honestly, the power play is letting the team down. There's no question about it. To score one goal in 60 minutes, power play opportunities, it's abysmal. It's one of the worst in the league. And to watch the pregame show and watch them talk about Montreal's power play with Caulfield setting it up in the corner. Like, how have the Leafs not done something just to jar some shit loose with all the firepower? Like, it's not like we're talking about this subpar, don't have any guns, guys are out of their element, no one's been in this position before type of players. Every one of these players has been a power play guy their entire life. So how do you not just mix it up completely and have a different look? Like Montreal's power play's got Caulfield setting it up kind of in the corner. Why not Willie Nylander in the corner there? Then you got OEL on his one-timer side up top, Morgan Riley on his one-timer side up top. Then you've got Matthew Nyes in front. You've got JT to pop out as an option to Willie on his one-timer side. And in the seam on the far side, you've got Austin Matthews on his one-timer side. Two good defensemen up top to protect against any. Like, how have you not tried something like this? That goes to all of their strengths. D-man up top, creative guy with the puck with time and space, JT the pop-out guy where like he thrives, Matthew Nyes in front of the net, huge body and can just be unmovable and also be really tidy and tight. And if a seam opens up, protecting anything else on that, you got up top with your one-timers and you got down low Austin Matthews on his one-timer side. I think the only reason they haven't is because, well, it's not giving Austin Matthews enough looks. That's the only thing I can come up with. But like that makes way too much sense and goes to everyone's strengths. And it's like they haven't even thought about it. They just like wheel it in somehow, and whoever happens to get it dropped to tries to get it in with traffic and just tries to see what they find, and they get absolutely not. Like they get less chances on the power play than they do, at other points in the game. Oftentimes they get more chances against on the power play. Like, how have they not mixed it up enough just to try to make something else work with that much horsepower on the power play? It's mind-boggling.
It really is. And I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think they're like 2 for the last 23 or 24, which is just disgusting. 10 for 70, dude. We talked about this last week. Wyatt Johnston on Dallas has like as many power play goals, or if not more. He's got more power play goals. I think he was at 12 last I checked. The Maple Leafs have 10. Like
Together.
It's actually wild. Like there's going to be a 30 for 30 on this power play in a few years from now. They're at 14%, 30 of 32 in the NHL, and it's just such a momentum killer. And you're so right. Even watching a team like Montreal, everybody knows where the puck's going to be, either Hudson or Cole Caulfield. Caulfield scored 1 billion goals on the side there the way he did. He almost scored again in the third period the same way, but it just seems with that star power, you can't figure it out, and they're at a loss, and they've got nothing else to add. And I mean, they just continue to run the well of gamut of guys, whether it's OEL or Riley on the power play. It's crazy.
And it's like they don't seem to want to change much.
No.
Like, tell me what they've changed in the last year and a half. Like, what have they done drastically different just to try to jar something loose and break the levee and get a different look? Like, you aren't creating chances, opportunities. You're not finding seams. You're easy to kill against. Like, you make the other team's penalty kill look so good. There's times where it's like they haven't registered a shot, let alone a chance, and it's just moving it around the perimeter. Like nothing opens up, and the killers are just like, okay, we'll just kill this. This is easy. Why not do something different that makes the kill like look around and go, you there, and like makes them have to like maybe miss communication or miss an assignment or give them a different look or something where they're uncertain of. Like, just try fucking something, because again, it's not like it's a bunch of duds on your power play that aren't capable of things. It's a bunch of studs, and you should, like, there's no reason on the planet to be this bad on the power play, yet they're not changing anything. They just keep, like, you're just going to keep banging your head against the wall and seeing if all of a sudden it starts to feel good. Like, what are you doing? I'm a moron when it comes to the power play. I don't know anything about it, but these guys do, and they absolutely shouldn't be this bad. And I'm just shocked that they haven't done anything even remotely drastic to jar something loose. Like, it's just like, here we go again. And it's just nothing. It's so flat, and it is such a momentum killer, and it is so predictable that it's really hurting the team. Like, look at other teams that's power play, like, gets them over the hump or wins them that 4-2 or 4-3 hockey game because the power play got 1 or 2. It's like never with the Leafs. And like, how much could they use it? And it should absolutely be an asset. And instead it is a liability consistently. It's not like this is 2 weeks of being in a slump. Like, this power play has been pathetic forever.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's transition the conversation to the actual game against Montreal. In your opinion, was that the prototypical first game back from a long road trip? Like, I actually commend the Leafs for hanging in there. I thought it was a sluggish effort, but they found a way to battle back. That clapper on the B wave for Scotty Lots, like, he's really starting to do his thing and play really, really well. And I think the underrated part of that play was the bat down by Nick Waugh, who had another really, really strong game. Great pass there, as you see on your screen right there. But that was a big-time goal, man. They found a way to get a point, and I'll take that, man.
Yeah, huge goal. It's tough when you're in one of those games and you just all of a sudden that's a period went by and half the game's gone by and we haven't scored a goal. And again, that's where your power play could come up big for you and bury one for you. They do not. But to tie that up, somewhat late in the game and Lots to get his third in 3 nights, I think. The full clapper, it's never been my thing. I've never even thought about trying it. Some guys love it. When you miss, you look really dumb, but when you bury, it just looks fantastic. And like, how jacked was he, man? He's got his mojo. I imagine he dreamed about scoring a big one against Montreal in Toronto, have the place go buzzing. You could just see the electricity on his face when he's selling. Is huge for him. I'm happy they got a point out of it for sure. Easily could have got 2. I mean, a shootout can go any which way. They had the puck the entire overtime as well, which just having possession off the opening faceoff is, I don't know what the percentages are, but it's pretty indicative of having a good chance to win the game. I was really pissed off they didn't win it, just for my own, fuck, it would have been nice to shove it up Montreal, but to get a point was huge. And were they flat after a road trip? I don't even know if it was that. It's just their offense was just dry. You needed Willie to go in there and to bury one. You needed Austin to pull the trigger on something and roast a goalie. You needed a power play to find a seam and bang one in backdoor. Do you ever see them make a passing play on the power play and then throw it backdoor to a guy? The goalie's not there, the D-man's not there, just get the kill, just spinning around out of position. Fuck, they roasted us there. They're not even close. They don't even have opportunities to where it's you tried to make a play and it hit a stick. It's not even close, the power play. And there's a game right there against Montreal Saturday night where if they showed up and did their job, you would have the win in your pocket, and you didn't get it. And it's every single night. I mean, 14% of the time they get you a goal. It's almost never. And that number is dwindling every single game that comes and goes. When they get 2-3 opportunities, they don't get a lot of them, but when they do, it's just a foregone conclusion that it's just going to be a 2-minute nothing, and away they go. Now the team just killed a penalty and is going to try to get the momentum. It's very frustrating, and there's no reason for it. I don't know, man. I wish they would try something different to at least say, holy shit, look what they're trying on the power play here. Let's see if it works. It's not. It's just the same thing over and over again for months. I don't understand it.
It's funny watching that game too. I was like, is this just a stifling defensive effort by the Montreal Canadiens, or is this just a lackluster, sluggish effort for the Maple Leafs? But again, you can speak better to it. You've played in the league, but it really reeked of that type of game where you're unsure of yourself. You're a bit sluggish. You're back from the road trip, although it's in the East. It wasn't even out West, but that's why I sort of chalk it up. You can pick up a point. I'm happy with that. It sucks because it's Montreal, but as Craig Berube said, shootouts are a crapshoot. They really are. And what a finish by Alex Texier there, man. You ever pulled off that type of move before? That was disgusting.
No. I had this backhand shelf move, and then if the goalie knew you were doing that, you're fading left and you go high right backhand, and they don't think you're going to release it. And then if they know you do that thing, they got to protect high glove, and then you just do the same thing but go 5-hole. I did that back-to-back shootouts one time, but I'm far from you. You got to get pretty far down the shootout list to have me end up shooting. But this is a ballsy move. I don't even know who the hell this guy is, and it's a one-handed backhand 5-hole. My God. And he pulled it off to some guys just have that move where it's just so you know, coach, I have this move that is an 85%er. And they knew that, obviously, threw him in there, won the game for him. Tough stuff. Matthews scored on the shootout. I guess that's pretty good. Doesn't really count. What was your take on giving the guy a game winner for the shootout winner? I think Corrado, our buddy, had no, they were talking about it on the panel going, it's a conversation that people think they should get something for having the shootout winner, and they say give him a
No.
game-winning goal. It's absolutely outrageous to me. But
That's the
Corrado is
dumbest
the
thing ever
alone.
because it's the same guys who shoot. I was actually talking to
No
my cousin
shit.
about this. It's always the same guys who shoot. Like, I was just going to bring up the fact that I know it's Matthews. I know it's Nylander. You know who I'm shooting first in that shootout? The hottest player on the team, Scott Lawton. Like, you always see the same guys, and I get it. Like, they just brought in Texier like 2 weeks ago, and obviously they have the book on this guy. He's wicked in the shootouts. But for the Leafs, it's always the same guys, and most teams, it's always the same guys. So you're going to start racking up shootout winners here? It's crazy.
It'd be ridiculous. I just wondered if you caught that. I was shaking my head. Corrado had a
Yeah.
couple of takes on the panel where everyone was like, "Pardon me," but I don't know if he's trying to mix it up. But that made me
Maybe.
laugh. Talk about a way to screw up the numbers and the stats and the history books, just throwing something stupid in that. But yeah, I guess Hilderby didn't have the
He was
book
good,
on
man.
on
He was
that
good.
guy on the shootout. He was fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a nightmare scenario, but nobody's
It is.
panicking because of how good Hilderby looks. Like, fuck it, he's so big. Like, is he 6'7", 230? Like,
Something like
that is
that,
a
yeah.
monstrosity of a goalie, and he can move, and his butterfly is really solid. I have tons of confidence in him, and I really think that the rest of the team does. I know, like, that should have been, a 2-1, 3-1 win, and the whole story is Hilderby is emerging as this monster. Instead, they don't win because the power play don't score, the superstars don't score. But like, what a performance that's overshadowed by the loss in Hilderby between the pipes. Like, he has not had a blemish or a hiccup all season long, and he has been put into really tough positions every single outing. I think that's massive for this team right now as we try to figure out what's going on with the goaltenders. Again, maybe this week we'll know a little bit more about Joseph Woll, and Stoley is kind of an afterthought, but we have the third and fourth goaltender as our goaltenders as we're trying to climb into the playoffs after a horrific start. Like, that's nightmare fuel, but nobody seems to be like, spirits are fairly positive around around the market. I think it's mainly because of Hilderby.
No, they're used to this shit. These guys are always hurt. Like that. That's why they're like, they don't even talk about it anymore. Like, okay, next guy up. I don't know. Goaltending's it's in a weird state right now in the NHL. But you're so right. Hilderby was great. 1-2-2, 2.51, 9.27 so far. He'll get to start here against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll preview that game in a second. But I think they found a way to get a point. 3-0-1 in the last 4. But I did want to ask you about a couple cold streaks. John Tavares has 2 points in the last 7, and it looks like our guy, he is our guy now. Nick Robertson looks like he's going to be a health bomb tonight in favor of Calle Yarncroke. He's got 2 goals, 2 points in the last 11 outings. But I think the fortunate news, he's either going to be back on Thursday or Saturday against Edmonton. He'll score in that game, which is good.
Yeah, if history repeats itself. Yeah, I mean, with JT, you look at the season as a whole. You're going to
have
have
the Cowan fit on that line.
It's hard to say, man. They've got a good mix of a talent and ability and style. I like how Cowan works. Like, he's just not going to be the guy caught floating anywhere. I think I do. Like, do you think there's a better option? Like, he has to be on the team. He has to be in the lineup. I think you see little mistakes. They're not boneheaded mistakes. They're not selfish mistakes. It's just like little things, like he went to chip it and go around the guy and he kind of chipped it into his stick and it ended up being a turnover. Like, just little junior stuff that, he's so young and he has no experience and he's in this position. I'm never going to knock the kid. I think he's doing phenomenal and we're lucky to have him. I just don't see a better fit elsewhere on him. Is he going to go onto the top line? Are you thinking? Because he's not going to go break up that third line and he's not a fourth line guy. So I have to say, yes, I like him on the line.
I prefer him with Matthews. I'm just not buying this whole Domi thing, man. Like, he's a third line player or a fourth liner, and he's playing on the top line with Matthews and Nyes. They just look out of, I don't know. It just, the chemistry to me is just not there the way they want it to be with that top line. And again, it speaks to Matthews. We know Nyes is a bit banged up here. He hasn't been himself for the most part this season, but I almost prefer Cowan on that line as opposed to the JT line. And maybe that's something they look at moving forward here. But I don't know. Maybe it's more of how I feel about Max Domi than I feel about Cowan on the second line. I'd rather have him with the big boys on the top line.
So would you switch those two?
I don't want Domi in my top six. I think he's well suited to be on the fourth line. I think if you have Max Domi on your fourth line, you're feeling pretty damn good about life.
And this is back to the summertime where it's starting to look like this is kind of the team that it was supposed to, with that third line emerging. Nick Waugh being really good. Dakota Joshua, God, he had the puck on his stick. Damn near lucky save with the mask. He looks more dynamic and more of a threat. Like that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to look when they made these, when they acquired these guys in the summertime. But there was still that we're one forward away. We're one forward. We have a hole. We need a top six forward. And we're talking about it right now. Like, it's amazing that Easton Cowan is capable of contributing on this lineup and playing every night and not being a liability. But that's not quite enough. Like you say, I don't think you go on a playoff run with Max Domi on your top line. I don't. No. I think he's better suited elsewhere, but there's nobody else who goes on that second line. Who goes on if you move Cowan up, who goes on the second line if Domi goes down to the fourth line? Nick Robertson, as much as we got on board with him, and I really admire his work ethic and the way he buzzes out there, he has a strong tendency to go away for huge chunks of time. Like we're looking at like 11 games now with not a lot of production, where several weeks ago he was just all over the place and he was a big factor, but he can't seem to be stable and consistent with his production. It's plagued him his whole time in Toronto. It's why people have wanted him to get shipped out. It's why he asked for a trade. It's why he doesn't get to be a mainstay in the lineup all the time. Is we know there's something there, but he can't do it consistently. And it's not like he had 2 games off. It's like 10 and 12 games where he hasn't done a goddamn thing. And here it is again, where he's probably going to get some time in the press box. I'm all about it being short and giving it another crack and seeing if the scratch and score is still there. But I don't know what it is about the guy that can't remain consistent. I know it's not work ethic.
They lose faith in him really quickly. Like he'll go first line, second line, then fourth line. Then the health bomb's coming. Like I didn't think he did much over the weekend. But at the Leafs Nation 4-1, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Get set for this game against Tampa, game 2 of 5 on this homestand. The home record at 8-4-4. The Lightning, as mentioned, banged up. It won't be Vasilevsky. It'll be Jonas Johansson playing in this game. And your boy Pontus Holmberg returning to Toronto. 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points in 21 games. Here's the big thing that I drew to. He's drawn 16 penalties. If there's one thing that Pontus Holmberg did effectively in his time in Toronto was draw penalties. This team can't draw penalties, as talked about. They have 70 power plays on the season. But Holmberg off to a really good start. He's found an identity there in the bottom 6 for Tampa.
Yes, it will be good to see you again, Pontus. Yes, I think so. It's been a while for that one.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck, yeah. I don't really care what Pontus Holmberg. Draw penalties, I hope not. You got lineup news?
Yeah, so we got Ruby spoke about 20 minutes ago, but Yarncroke and Dakota Mermis draw back in. Robertson, Phil Myers will sit. Lawton missed the morning skate. We didn't talk about that, but we thought Michelli was a placeholder. Matthias Michelli, hardly knew ya, not playing again. But Lawton will be in, and Dennis Hilderby starts here against Tampa.
Cool. I get it. Yeah, Myers. I said Benoit. I was thinking Myers earlier in the
makes sense.
Show on who would come out before Troy Stetcher. Like, not even on the radar. I think it would be Stetcher and Benoit, or Myers and Benoit would come out before Stetcher would at this point. They're loving him and they're playing him, and he's been really solid. Exactly what they've needed. So not surprised there. A little bit of maintenance for Scotty Lawton, I guess. Not concerned. And again, like I love how there doesn't seem to be a lot of pressure on Hill to be. Obviously there is, or there'd be reason to, but he seems like he's fine. The market, the media, everyone seems to be like, yep, Hilderby, you're great. And it's been like a seamless transition going to Hilderby being the number 1 guy. And by all accounts, he is handling it just fine. Again, every situation he's put in, he has not had a single hiccup. So, geez, let's continue that train, but he can't play every single night. And I am just waiting for the decision to be made where it's, Artur comes in. How do you say it?
I think it's
Akhtem-
Artur Akhtemov, but it's a
Akhtemov.
tough one for me. Yeah,
That's coming.
Just some
That's
news
sooner.
from Tampa too. I was looking forward to seeing this news. Nikita Kucherov taking part in the morning skate. He missed last game with an undisclosed injury, so it looks like the Leafs are going to have to contend with one of the best players on the planet. I was really hoping he wasn't going to play, but Braden Point's not playing, which is good. So,
yeah, I mean, Vasi not being in is a big one. It'd be nice to get the floodgates opened here, get to a backup goalie, get to him quick, and start to pile some points up, get some confidence going, get JT on the board. Matthew Nyes has monster success against the Tampa Bay Lightning point wise. I'm sure he'll be part of our little betting segment at the end.
Yes.
Some guys just have it against certain teams, and whatever it is, Matthew Nyes has got the stuff with the Lightning, so it'd be nice for him to pop off. I would love for Matthews just to have 2-1. Like, when's the last time he was just the first star and just had 2 highlight reels and he was just the main focus of the highlights the next day? I can't think of it, but be unreal if he could pop off at some point in time. Why not tonight?
They got to take advantage, plain and simple. I mentioned Jonas Johansson's going to start this game, and I'm taking nothing away from the guy. He's one of the worst goaltenders in the league. He really is. Like, you look at his numbers. This series played 10 times, 2.85, 896. That's pedestrian shit. Career 3.24, 891. This guy's a sieve, okay? They've got to win this game, but they've got to win it convincingly, in my opinion, and in regulation. You got to take care of business. I don't care if Kucherov's playing. Hedman's back in the lineup at point, Chernak, McDonough. You've got to seize the opportunity here. This is a major opportunity to gain ground in the standings, win in regulation, and get to a team you're chasing. Plain and simple.
Yeah, what are the numbers here? Who's favored? It's always funny to look at Toronto because it's Toronto and there's heavy volume going on. So they are the favorites at even money, the underdogs at even money with the Lightning -120. Interesting, but yeah, like, how about an opportunity with that Tendy to get the power play going? Like, I would be not passing up any opportunities. I would be making sure you're hitting the goddamn net. I'd be crashing it. I would be doing everything you can to get to this goalie early and see if you can get him to only stop 88% of the shots throughout the evening. And whether that cracks open Austin Matthews or the power play or John Tavares, anybody, give me something. Opportunity is right in front of them.
It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, NATION. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. Always curious about the betting market. Like, I really like the Leafs tonight, and I'm pretty fair in my analysis on this team. To get them at plus money, I think recency's out the window. You know how I bet. I like recency. The Leafs have owned Tampa. Let's just be honest about it. They've owned them since they beat them in the playoffs a couple years ago. More time, like, if you recall last year. On top of that, this game's on Prime. What's the one thing we've learned about the Leafs on Prime? They win convincingly. Like, I wouldn't be afraid to look at, the puck line in this game. I think the Leafs take care of business. I got that feel. You talk about Nyes as well. We have the stats. I'm sure you're playing this too, but 10 goals in 9 career games. He's a plus 13 against Tampa. I think you're so right. It's just got to be one of those nights where the Maple Leafs really ignite themselves and get cooking here.
Yeah, that'd be huge. Patterns. I didn't really believe in patterns too much. Every game is new and different things are going on, but there clearly are patterns, and I'm starting to really lean towards them. And when you looked at, a week or two ago or whatever, you saw the schedule of last week going into this week. Tampa Bay, who was hot for a bit there, have cooled off, obviously. No Vasilevsky, like, huge opportunity to take 2 points that might not have been possible not very long ago. So I totally agree with you. I like Matthew Nyes for something today. Even if he didn't have the numbers against Tampa, I think he's due to have himself a little bit of a night. And I don't know, like, who wants to take control? Willie, Austin, John, somebody. Like, there's enough horses up there that someone should take control of it. But I like Nyes tonight.
At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. A couple super chats before we wrap the Monday edition here. Vicus Patronus 93, thank you so much for this super chat. How do you think this team would react if someone ran over Hilderby? Also, Waugh had his best game of the season versus Montreal. Fair to bring up. This super chat was submitted when we started off the show talking about Stoli, but that is a fair question. I wonder about the reaction. But Nick Waugh's the guy I want to highlight. I think he is really coming into his own as a Maple Leaf. That third line in general, you're right. They were buzzing again on Saturday night.
Yeah, they're creating. They seem to know what they're supposed to do out there, which has kind of been a problem through the beginning of the year. So that's great to see. Yeah, if somebody ran Hilderby, I think if Stetcher was there, I think if McCabe was there, I think if Benoit was there, Morgan Riley kind of knows how to do. I think they would have the right response. Don't think Austin Matthews would know what to do, or he'd probably act like he didn't see it. But that's not how, you don't really want your superstars in there doing that kind of thing. But I think that this team's identity and understanding of what's going on right now, I believe they would have the right response if someone were to run through Hilderby. And he, I don't even know who the fourth or the fifth goalie is, in the organization. If Hilderby goes down, now we're talking about toilet flush season. I would think, nothing against anybody, but who wins anything when your back's already against the wall with your fourth and fifth goaltender? You have to protect Hilderby.
By the way, I did some poking around. It sounds like there's been dialogue throughout the season with James Reimer. They haven't spoken since Wall went down, but I would just keep that in the back of everybody's mind. If things, we hope it doesn't get to that level, but I think they would like a veteran guy to play. So I just don't know how they feel about Akhtiamov to put him into a game. But Reimer continues to skate, by the way, in Kelowna, where he lives. He's still focused on returning and playing, pro hockey, whether it's in the NHL. I think the NHL is where he'd like to be. But I would just have that on the radar. But I know for a fact there hasn't been conversation the last couple of days. So maybe it's more how they feel about Wall. But they're not going to rush the Wall thing. And I think they have a back-to-back coming up next week. So we're going to see Hilderby for the time being here, man.
Maybe they ride him. Maybe they just ride him, and I don't know what his injury history is. Huh?
Until he gets hurt, because they all get hurt. They can't play more than 3 games in a row. It's crazy.
We'll see. I imagine they're waiting on some news about Wool. If they are just waiting for the LTIR, IR stuff to run out the 7 days, then they won't make a move. Like you said, you've reached out and found out that they have not contacted Reimer. That leads me more to believe in Craig Berube's comments that Wool could be back at some point this week or at the end of this week. So I guess a waiting game right now. But again, in the meantime, we're pretty goddamn lucky to have Hilderby be able to handle what he's handled so far. Seems like his mind is in a big place, in a good place, and he's been playing big hockey and not in the perfect circumstances that a goaltender would ask for either. So hats off to Hilderby. We're lucky to have him right now. And by all accounts, he's saving our bacon right now.
He is. Meantime, Mike Rushton is pondering and wondering why and how Austin Matthews is the captain of Team USA. Shane Brom, 7786, thank you so much for the super chat. Proposes a trade involving Austin Matthews. AM34 plus a third. I love people just throwing in those thirds and those fourth. We love those type of trades. For Byfield and Clark on the back end. I don't know. I don't know where Matthews' head's at. I really don't even want to discuss trades right now with Matthews until after the season. But the hell's his value? What is it? Are you going to trade this guy and get 48% of the value on this guy because he's not playing the way he should be playing? That's a concern to me.
Injury history, a lot of shadowy things going on with his health where they're not obviously making that public knowledge. I think and other people can obviously see and notice and look and see that he's kind of a shell of himself. I don't know what his value is. I've contemplated those things in my own mind with trades and whatnot, and then I always come back to they're never going to ask their captain, who they just gave the captaincy to in kind of dramatic fashion, taking it away from a potential Hall of Famer of John Tavares, and give it to this guy just last summer, not this past one, the one before, and then ask him to waive his trade and ship him out. It would be admitting fault. It's just not in the Maple Leafs DNA to go against the grain like that with their captains and their big decisions. I don't see it happening, and that can go the wrong way too. Asking a guy to waive his no move clause. Obviously, they could do some digging around.
Could it go the wrong way?
I don't know, man.
The only reason why I bring that up because that guy last year at the trade deadline, they got out there that they asked him. You know?
Well, that writing seemed to be on the wall. Like, imagine we had what's his name right now?
No, I don't even want to talk about Mikko Rantanen. No thanks, man. That's disgusting.
Nonetheless, yeah, trade talk always fun, but always a lot harder to get across the finish line than people think.
I would say it's a conversation I'd probably be more open to having next summer. Given, we'll see what happens with this season, but I think it'll be a polarizing debate if things don't go the way people want them to go in Toronto this year. And I would say this, LA, I think would be a team that would be looking to do something substantial next summer because Anze Kopitar is retiring. As we know, they're going to have some money. They're going to do something. I don't know if they're a team I would look at if this ever started to get out there and manifest itself. But again, plenty of time between now and the offseason.
A city that likes a guy cruising in with fancy clothes on and stuff like that. It's Tinseltown. So it's interesting. I imagine he'd fit in there pretty well.
Yes, sir. All right, Rosie, that's going to do it for today. You're off tomorrow. You're back on Wednesday. Dallas Eakins, your former coach, is going to drop by on Wednesday. Dave Pagnotta in the saddle tomorrow. Speaking of Tinseltown, Dave's actually in Los Angeles right now, so maybe I'll pull him on that. Would LA be a team that would be intrigued by the prospect of having an Austin Matthews potentially on the trade market? And also, former Lightning player Tyler Johnson's been doing some media work. Is going to drop by the podcast tomorrow, break down this game, get his thoughts on the Maple Leafs as well. So look forward to reconvening with you specifically on Wednesday, bud.
Cool, man. Looking forward to it, and enjoy the game tonight, everybody. Like you said, it's a gettable one, isn't it?
It is. And by the way, I believe it's military night. As much as I know, I did some digging for reasons I don't know, but I don't think they have a video tribute set up for Pontus Holmberg. And 7:49 Eastern time puck drop for that game. So we're going to be waiting a while, man. 7:49 Eastern for Rosie, 5:49 Alberta time for you, buddy. So we'll leave it at that. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Thank you to producer Vic. Thank you to Jay Rosehill. I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.